Wrestle Plug 444 Life.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to #get plugged in. The refreshing, empowering moment that we have all wanted from WWE.
It's like ordering a medium pizza and then turning up with an extra large and a bottle of Coke.
What happens is these fucking people live in this fantasy land.
Everyone got their shit in, everyone got each other over, everyone looked good and made the industry look great.
New Japan wrestling talent.
I'm a true champion.
Super Cow! Mamma mia!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Austin Drake has joined us at the Wrestle Plug. Austin Drake is a name you'll be familiar with because he's the geezer who kicked the living shit out of me last March of 2019. I'm amazed it's taken this long for you to come on, mate. I can only assume that you were hoping you would have another chance to beat the shit out of me beforehand, but welcome to the podcast, Austin Drake. It's a pleasure to have you, mate.
It's nice to hear you, actually, and it's been a while since I've seen you, if I'm honest, so...
Yeah, it's, it's been a while for all of us, isn't it, when it comes to wrestling, and, the Southwest is kind of all over the place, isn't it, now? It's, the landscape has changed a lot since me and you, got it on down in Exeter, so how have you been coping with the pandemic? Because you are, as anyone has seen, quite the unit, big, sizable lad, powerhouse of a man. What's the workout regime been like for you?
To be honest, yeah, I mean, ever since they announced the lockdown, when they announced all leisure centres and gyms are closing, I was absolutely gutted. But the first thing I thought, right, eBay, multi-home gym. I bought one for £200, so it's not been that bad, actually. So I've got literally a multi-gym in my living room, which my parents ain't too happy about with. But it's I tell you what, it keeps me at bay, and I've literally got everything in my house now. So I cancelled my gym membership, and it's just all flowing. I've got free weights, I've got the multi gym, everything's as normal, but not just as normal as you would in a gym. It's not that same motivation, but it's still there, so it's still going, so it's all good.
That's wonderful, man. Before it sort of come into effect, this bullshit pandemic, obviously, I mean, you work an incredibly hectic lifestyle. You're not only an independent wrestler, you work obviously a couple of jobs as well. You're just a full-on bloke, constantly on the grind, on the graft, and in the build-up to things, you're obviously fulfilling dates for places like New Robin and D.W.A. Now, when do you anticipate, or would you like the opportunity to work for someone like Reach? Because I've noticed that's the only place where you really haven't cut your teeth yet.
It's a strange one, really. I mean, I know everybody down at Reach, and the product they've got is, to be honest with you, the Southwest scene is absolutely amazing, and I still remember chatting to Jason King before he had it all up and running, that he told me this idea, and I thought, well, if you're going to do it, I mean, because at the time, the bigger wrestling companies at the moment, or at the time, was Pro Wrestling Pride. And that used to attract like 400, 500, 600 people in at a time. But there again, they used to get all the imports in. So it was a tough one. So if it was going to work, it was going to work. And then Pro Wrestling Pride kind of like phased out, and then D.W.A come back up again, and then Reach kind of just jumped ahead of it massively. And yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, because I know every single all the guys down there, and I obviously worked with the guys go on the shows, but I've always said to like Dick Riley or PJ Jones, I'd rather those guys do it and make it a better quality show all rounder for wrestling and have the more professional guys on there rather than likes of me. I mean, I've only been doing it 4 years, so I'd rather have the bigger and better guys on there to make the Southwest scene look more professional, I guess, in some respects. As much as I would like to work Reach, I just think they've got everything there. Do you know what I mean? They've got everybody they need to use. They've got the context they need to use. It's like one show because I go down to watch Reach. I went down there a couple of times. I haven't been down there recently because of obviously work schedules and stuff like that, and being rammed out with D.W.A shows myself. But it's one show I was down there, and you must be familiar with is it the Pretty Marvelous, Pretty Reckless, Pretty
Deadly?
That's the ones, yeah. So they come out, and the crowd was absolutely silent, and I went, "That's Pretty Deadly," and they were like, "What?" I was like, that's pretty deadly. They said, they're on NXT UK. And everyone was like, oh, I don't know who they are. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how do you not know who these guys are if you've been catching up with wrestling? And it was just silent. And then it wasn't until I mentioned it, they were on NXT UK, people started to realise who they were. And then I think it was back a week or 2 weeks after that, they were on NXT UK. The Reach crowd clicked on and then realised that who they were when they were on the show. I think it was a month after that. But yeah, no, it's I mean, I'd like to work Reach. I mean, but I've always said I'd rather leave it to the more professional guys and the more guys that are well-known names. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a great amount of good trainees down there, and they've got a good range of contacts in terms of wrestlers. You know, you got your Dick Rileys, PJ Jones, Eddie Ryans, Big Grizz. So it's pretty much the whole Southwest. Basically, wrestlers are all in there. Do you know what I mean? So there's no need for me to someone to come in and take somebody's spot. Oh, don't get me wrong. If you sent me a message one day, and I would say, yeah, I was meant to be in a Rumble when I think they had their either first or second Plymouth show on, but at the time I had a motorbike crash, so it kind of phased things out a little bit in that thing. So, I mean, I could have been on there, but obviously with a broken hand, I can't exactly do much. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to. I've always said if there's someone better, then use them. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm still going through that massive. Yeah, I'm going through that massive like learning phase still. So I've still got lots to learn, but there is. Yeah, like I said, if you want to keep your show great, then use the better people. And that's how I've always been, you know. So, I mean, it kind of shoots me in the face a little bit, but at the same time, if there's a spot for me, then by all means, send me a message and there's a spot for me. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair, mate. That's fair. Let's rewind it back. Now, obviously, you said you've only been wrestling for 3 years. Now, I know that you used to be an MMA practitioner before you got into wrestling. Was the goal always to be a wrestler, or did you want to be a UFC guy? Did you want to be an MMA star?
To be honest with you, I didn't know of any wrestling academies around where I live at the time. So literally about a mile up the road, I was into my MMA and I watched a lot of UFC, and I thought, I wouldn't mind giving that a go, because I started bouncing and then kind of got into my whole fighting. So it was, you know, I kept causing a bit of trouble on the doors. So I thought, I'll get into fighting and try and knuckle me down a bit. So I just kind of joined up to MMA and then did 5 years semi-pro and pro on that, and then I come across Dick Riley when I was in the club I was working in, probably about 8-9 years ago, and I said to him, I've seen you wrestle a few times on D.W.A shows. He said, yeah. I said, where did you train for that? He went, I trained down D.W.A down XR with Joel Redman and PJ Jones. I was like, oh, okay. I said, when are you going down next? He went, this Sunday if you want to. I was like, boom. I said, okay, yeah, no worries. Ever since then, I've just been doing it then. So I gave up MMA and then went into wrestling. So the pay, I suppose it depends where you work and how far you get in MMA, but the pay was absolutely rubbish for MMA, and it seemed to be more for wrestling. But there again, I'm not doing it for the pay. I'm doing it because I've always wanted to become a wrestler. I just never knew any camps around there at the time. And I started literally a week after Joel got accepted for NXT UK. Not NXT UK, NXT, sorry. So it was, I don't know, ever since then I've just been doing it, and then it's just shot off from there. So
the training process in D.W.A. now, obviously Dom is a big part of that. Now I know Dom is a very big part of your upbringing as well. Was your tag team partner. I believe he's just announced his retirement. So looking forward to getting Dom. I'm sure Dom will listen to this, and if Dom is listening, come on the podcast, mate. Come on, we want you on the podcast. I'm sure he'll rip the shit out of me, but it'll be worth the time and the effort. Now, obviously in D.W.A, it's got a family orientation, but that's not to say that the guys who are trained down there aren't good at what they do. Like you say, Dick Riley, PJ Jones, Dom, and Joel Redman, former NXT Tag Team Champion. How's the training down there? Are you still training down at D.W.A, or at least were you up until the pandemic?
Well, I was training down at D.W.A, and then obviously where you've got your Dick Rileys and PJs, they've kind of phased out and obviously concentrating on their own things, and Dick's got his own family now. He's had extra kids and stuff, so they all concentrate on that, and they just do the shows for whatever they get offered and stuff like that. I was still training, but it kind of, in some respect, I lost a little bit of love for it. And there was a lot of personal problems coming into the wrestling side of things. not so much my personal problems, but other people's personal problems, and it kind of put down on everything. So I kind of stepped away because where I was working at the doors at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd get home at 5 o'clock and then have to get up at 8, 9 o'clock and then travel an extra 60, 70 miles to go to training for 10 o'clock, you know. It was just an absolute ball ache at the time. So it kind of pushed me away a little bit, and I fell out a lot of love for it, you know, and it just wasn't as, I didn't have that motivation, you know, because all these personal problems getting involved, and 1 minute training was on, then it was off, and then it was on, then it was off, and then it just, in the end, I just said, I'm going to step away for a bit and give myself a break so I can just try and find that love for it again. And then I started going down from time to time, and it picked up a little bit, and then before this pandemic, we were absolutely rammed with shows. I mean, we had 3 shows a month, 4 shows maybe, in all different areas, and it was absolutely manic. And I think the last show was Topsham in Exeter, and that was the last show I was on. I was in a Rumble, which I won the Rumble, but the show before that, I was really ill myself, so which I'm pretty sure I had this COVID-19, you know, and that was only in February. Well, that's it, you know, because everybody had all these symptoms, and I had exactly all the symptoms they said, you know, and I've never been so ill. I was in bed for 10 days, and I had a cough for, a good 4 weeks, and it just killed me. But the last show I was on was Topsham, and yeah, training was on and off, and I kind of lost a little bit of love for it because of a few people's personal problems, and just bringing it into wrestling, and it just, quite frankly, can you swear on this?
Yeah, you can swear as much as you fucking want, mate.
Right. Cool. Quite frankly, it just pissed everybody off, and everybody was getting pissed off of it, and it was affecting the fans, and it kind of drove everybody away in some degree. And there was a lot of issues and problems and pettiness and bitchiness, and I just thought, I'm stepping away from it. And it got to the point, all honesty, I was gonna give it up. I was gonna quit, and I said to Robin, I said, I've had enough, I'm going to quit. I said to Kerry, who's now one of the owners of D.W.A as well, I said, I've had enough, I'm going to quit. And if it wasn't for those guys, I probably wouldn't be there anymore, you know. They just said, just hang fire, just stick around with us. And I just, do you know what I mean? Like, everybody's got problems in their life, and I just don't believe that you should bring it in and just dwell on everybody every single week, and it just got a bit too much. And I near enough quit because of it, and I just thought, no, I'll step back. If I step back, then I won't quit, and that's what happened, really.
I spoke to PJ Jones about D.W.A because he's another one who, for personal reasons, walked away from the process a lot more than he, would have liked to. Do you think that there's still problems there in terms of things like, because obviously they put on good shows and they have good wrestlers, and they've got everything there that seems like the base of it. I particularly like Dom and his style. He's very no nonsense, but one of the big problems I always thought D.W.A has, and still does this day, is promotion and social media and things like that. Do you feel like that's something that D.W.A should be addressing?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been a problem since day one, if I'm honest. It won't no longer be a problem, hopefully, because Robin's got his own media company, and he's literally on the ball with that kind of thing, and he is shit hot with it. And it's like I did hear PJ mention in his podcast that there was a lot of spelling mistakes with posters. Like we used to get our posters from actually one of PJ's mates because he was involved with that, and the posters used to come out shit hot, and the graphics were on point, the spelling was on point, everything. And then, I mean in this, like, in no disrespectful way to Dom, but he started doing the posters, and then it kind of, people were looking at just little simple things like the posters and going, I ain't going to that show, that looks shit because the poster looks shit,
Yeah.
And if it's having that much of a negative effect with where fans are just saying that, do you know what I mean? You're not going to sell any tickets that way, because I feel like if the poster looks good, then people are going to look at that and go, that looks good, we'll go to that, If it looks like a bog standard poster and people start picking out spelling mistakes, then it's going to make people go, well, what else is wrong with that? Do you know what I mean? So I do think there was a lot of, on the DWA page, there was a lot of stuff being put up multiple times, and a lot of the same stuff multiple times, a lot of the older stuff multiple times. And it just, ever since I've been working with DWA, I mean, I wrestled Dick Riley, 3 years ago now, and that's the best match I've ever had. And yet to this day, I've still not seen that footage. And
Wow.
I kept, yeah, exactly. I kept saying, we need to post footage up. We need to post footage up. Where's the photos? Where's the videos? Like every show was getting recorded to a degree at some point, and we were getting photos. And it wasn't till later on in the year, we had Robin come in and he brought his camera and video stuff, and then we had Tracy, which was Freak Show's missus.
Yeah,
She's got her own independent company. She does a lot of recording and photos for, I think it's TNT Wrestling, I believe.
She does, yeah. She recorded ours as well, and she also used to work for Preston City Wrestling as well.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. And she brought her things, and she was more than happy to record it, and things started getting back on track and going up on the sites, and she'd share the videos, and Freak Show would share the videos, and it started to get back on track, and then it just kind of fizzled out again, you know, and to the point, it's just, even I look at the D.W.A page now and go, oh, I can't be asked to look at it, you know, and as a guy that works for that company, I just, do you know what I mean? It's disheartening for myself to go, oh, I can't be asked to look at that, because it's just the same stuff all the time, you know, and it just got very repetitive.
Why do you think it got like that? Why do you think like D.W.A just fell by the wayside like that? Because there's never been a problem with the wrestlers, has there? But, you know, and the quality of the product. When you say Dick Riley versus Austin Drake, that's a fucking good match. People want to see that. So why is it that D.W.A is kind of... I know it's... I believe it's got new ownership and they're going to be opening a new academy, so it looks like bright horizons for the guys now. But why did it fall that far?
I think it was just consistent, same stuff on the page, and like it just, everything needed to be updated, you know, like we had a website that needed to be updated, Facebook page needed to be updated. It wasn't focused on like certain shows and stuff. Like we'd have a show like say in 4 weeks time, and it wouldn't start advertising until 2 weeks time, you know, and there was all that kind of issues, you know, and it just hit it hard, you know, and if it was the same thing, like we'd have. There must have been something on the Facebook page stopping us, or because when you look at Reach's page, they've got like 4,000 or 5,000 followers. I can't remember how much it is now, but this is just a rough, you know, guess. And we only had like 1,000-2,000, you know, and it's just like, well, so I started not telling anybody about what I was doing. So I was adding people to the D.W.A page and inviting them through my page because I'm obviously quite well known and I've got a lot of friends on my page and stuff. And then I started doing the advertising and sharing a lot of things and stuff like that, as you would as an independent wrestler working for that company, because you want to draw in as much as you can.
Absolutely.
So I started sharing everything and stuff like that, and then noticed that a lot of other people wasn't sharing anything. And I thought, well, okay, this is meant to be a group thing. So I said to a lot of the trainees, I said, look, come on, guys, we're all in this together. Share it, you know, get your name out there. This is the only way you're going to get your name out there. And just a lot of them couldn't be asked to do it, or you know, like none of them would do it. And it wasn't only until Dom turned around to me one training session, he went, oh, we've got 2,000 so-and-so hits on there now. I went, yeah, that's because of me. He went, well, it's not. I said, no, it is. I said, because I'm the only person that's been sharing and inviting people to that. I said, I've got 1,000+ friends on my Facebook. I said, you think if 500 of those add to it, or 600 of those like it, you know, it's going to boost the ratings up a bit, you know, and it, like no one could click onto that, you know, because I think with Facebook now, they have like a certain page where you put stuff too much up and it just gets spammed and it gets taken down.
Yeah, it is similar to that. There's this thing called an algorithm, and you know, it's probably a good lesson for guys to learn. Like, just be careful how you post and what you post.
Yeah, you know, I think it just got, or it was the same stuff all the time. It just got taken down half the time. So I think that was, I mean, we would go out and flyer and poster and whatever else, you know, like I would do my area of Bideford like by myself, and I would quite happily sell that venue out by myself, you know, and I've done that 2-3 times now. So I don't know what the issue is. There's something missing, you know, but I just can't put my finger on it, you know. But like with Reach, they advertise stuff and it's there, boom. But they've got the right talent there. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got the well-known names. I'm not saying that we haven't had the well-known names, because we have, you know, till late. But I think there's something missing. I can't put my finger on it.
With Robin coming in, obviously there was New Robin Wrestling. I don't know if New Robin Wrestling's still going or if it's merging with D.W.A. His name gets lobbied around quite a lot. but not too many people, you know, who aren't behind the scenes will know Robin that well. What's the kind of impact been since he's come in? How do you feel like he's changed things?
It's gone up, in all honesty. A lot of people underrate that guy a lot, and it wasn't till... I mean, don't get me wrong, I was a little bit unsure when Robin first come in, because as you and me know, like, if someone comes in and starts talking wrestling and you don't really know, when you've been doing wrestling yourself and etc., you kind of a bit wary about it. But hands on heart, that guy, he knows what he's doing, you know. And a lot of people will either slate him or whatever because they don't get on for it with him for certain reasons. But that guy is an absolute mastermind when it comes to media or posters or just generally people he knows. I mean, ever since he's come in, we've got Kerry on board now as well. Ever since those two have come in, just the happiness in itself is a lot higher, and things are being done better, and there's storylines, and there's more contact of wrestlers coming down, there's more media going up, more photos going up, more advertising. Robin's got contacts, so many contacts. It's just unreal, you know. Like, we were bringing the Knight family down, and there's a few other plans down the path, you know. But like, it's just in terms of like talented wrestlers, we were bringing a lot of the Dragon Pro guys down, you know, and they all train. Their trainers are Wild Boar and Mark Andrews, you know. And to be fair, when they brought those lads down, because they used them for New Robin Wrestling, so I've been on quite a few shows with them, and I didn't realise who they trained with at the time. I tell you what, they're the most top lads I've ever met throughout the whole wrestling. You know, it's just, they're so professional, and they don't bitch everything off, and they don't have none of this wrestling politics. They just come down, have a good laugh, get on with your wrestling, and then have a beer afterwards, you know, because they know people, and then they know people, and then it's just so much of a better atmosphere when it comes to wrestling rather than the downside of it, you know. But yeah, no, he definitely has. He has had a big impact on it, hands down. You know, like, a lot of people don't like him, and I don't know why that is, but he is on ball. Like, he's done a lot for me, as well as Dom's done a lot for me and Kerry. Like, and if it wasn't for those guys, I would have stepped away, you know. But he has got a mastermind for it, and a lot of people really underrate him because obviously he doesn't wrestle and he's just come into it. But he is an absolute whiz when it comes to media and stuff like that. So
yeah, I hear his name lobbied around, but I always like to get the opinions from the people who actually fucking know, not just take it at face value. So it's always nice to kind of check in on that. And there's a name that obviously you're probably expecting me to mention. That's Renegade. Obviously, me and you wrestled at Renegade. You know, I got my break wrestling you at Renegade. So, you know, I must be one of the very few people. Now, I'm aware of some of the issues and stuff that went on, and I saw a fair amount myself. But I honestly had a very positive experience. Obviously, a lot of that is down to yourself and the way you looked after me. Renegade, it essentially went down the toilet. There's no way of like saying it any nicer way. I'm sorry. I know Alice is, you know, to this day still talks to me, so I'm not going to sit here and try and sugarcoat things just for the sake of her. It did. It went down the shitter, and it used to be known as Cornish Pro Wrestling. A lot of people will realise. So Renegade essentially only had one show. Give me your sort of viewpoint of what you saw, because you worked for CPW for so long. You and Dom had those, you know, I remember obviously, you know, you remember jumping me in the crowd, and there was that amazing match you had, and, you know, with the brothers Orr and all these different things going on. What was Austin Drake thinking during the time? Was it something where it just all of a sudden just plummeted off a cliff, or were there signs that things were a little bit nervous for people?
I don't know really. Well, I mean, I've heard all sorts myself, so I'm a bit like, you know. But CPW as a product and what it had, I thought was amazing. You know, they had the crowd, they were bringing in the crowd, they were bringing in the talent, and it was good. You know, there was no hands down about it. It was good. You know, and they had a good venue at Bobbin Jail, and they had likes of Joseph Connors down there. They had Jimmy Havoc. I was on a show with Jimmy Havoc at one point, and they brought down Bram, all sorts, you know, and Doug Williams a lot. They could bring in the imports, and they put on really good shows, you know. I don't know where it went downhill to. I mean, I know that PJ was saying that obviously he got spoken to like shit a few times, you know. Hands down, that did happen. I had it for a few times with me, you know. Alice did speak to me like shit sometimes. And I even had her speak to me like shit sometimes, and I had people go, "Are you going to let her talk to you like that?" And I go, "Look, guys, I still work as a bouncer. I said I'm used to it. Trust me. You know, I said I'm here for one thing and one thing only. I said I'll get on with everybody, you know." And I just kind of let it go off my edge, I didn't let it bother me. But in terms of like wrestling and the quality of shows, I think it was amazing. I think I don't know where it went down. I think so. It was something to do with like certain wrestlers being paid or paid on time, but I'm not too sure where it went downhill as such. I mean, obviously the show that where we had our match in Exeter, I mean, it wasn't a big crowd ideally, but it was an ideal venue, and it was a good show. But I don't know where it's kind of. I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know where it phased out. I mean, I liked working for those guys. Admittedly I have been asked since, but I don't know what's. Do you know what I mean? Like you get asked and you go, yeah, no problems. Just send me a message. But I don't know whether it was because of a lot of the rumours from what happened to Jimmy Havoc, or I personally think it was probably people not being paid. Or wrestlers being paid. I wouldn't count me on it, so it's just from you get all these hearsays and you go yeah whatever. I'm one of these guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hear loads of things and just go yeah whatever. I'm thrown over my head because at the end of the day I'm only there for one thing. If I get paid to wrestle, I get paid to wrestle, and go home.
I still get it now. I still get loads of people asking me, and like I always say to people, look, why don't you fucking have, with all due respect, and this goes to wrestlers as well as fans, like, if you really want to know, why don't you just fucking ask the people involved? Don't sort of get on the forums and the hearsay, and I think a lot of it was escalated by the fact that people felt like they were very close to the product. That's the vibe I got. That it's very awkward when you turn up as a wrestler, and I've had this since, and people sort of, like you say, like you get people who say to you, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that." And it's like, well, where's your fucking bump card? Where's your where's your sort of knowledge of the business and everything that goes with it? And you just think, I've considered myself to be green as fuck, but I still know a lot more than the average person would. And I just kind of feel that when it comes down to it, I'm not here to dig up dirt on Renegade, but it was always nice to, because like I say, when I came in and saw CPW, Steve had been going to the shows. My mate does the podcast with me. He'd been going to the shows well before that. He'd seen so many great wrestlers, guys like Doug Williams and things like that. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you, because you most likely were going to be, I imagine you were in the locker room at the time. Is that right that Jason King broke Doug Williams' nose?
Quite a few things happened that night.
What the fuck happened there?
Oh, wow.
Only share what you feel you need to. Don't feel like you have to jeopardise your reputation.
No. I mean, everybody knows about this, and everybody knows about what happened. So, I think it was Jason King against Doug Williams, and I don't know what happened in the ring because I was backstage at the time. But all I remember was Doug Williams coming back, and his nose was halfway across his face, pissing out of blood. And I was just like, "Oh, what happened?" He went, "Oh, Jason stiffed him in the ring." I was like, "Oh, okay." I think he caught him with a mailbow or something. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Well, I went, "Oh, okay, bloody hell. Okay, right." You just think, all right, okay, yeah, they'll deal with it in their own way because they're all professional like that, Yeah. Obviously, it wasn't meant to happen. So there was that one, and then I had to do a run-in on Jimmy Havoc. Oh, God, this is... It was... I done a run in Jimmy Havoc. I give him a forearm, jumped in the ring, and he said to me before we went, pick up a weapon and hit me over the head with it. So I got in the ring. He feeded to the corner. I picked up a weapon, and it happened to be a bat, but I had my hand over the edge of the bat. So he put his arms up for a gut shot. I didn't realise that at the time. Ugh. Didn't go for a gut shot. Went straight for his face and smacked him straight in the nose, did I? And all he went down in the corner, he was like, "You fucking cunt."
That's Jimmy in a nutshell right there.
Yeah. And I just turned around and went, "Oh, God, here we go." And I had to turn around and take a lariat off of Bram at this time. So I turned around and took a lariat off of Bram, went backstage. Jimmy Havoc was kicking bags everywhere. "You fucking twat, you stiff me, blah, blah, blah." Admittedly, I had to go straight up to the guy and apologise to him. He obviously was a bit angry about what happened, but it wasn't a big punch or anything like that. His nose wasn't bleeding or anything like that. It was just kind of a little bit of a stiff. But even to that day, I was a bit like, "Oh, for God's sake!" But that's the first time I've ever stiffed somebody in 3 years. And I did say to him, I said, "Look, if I was going to punch you properly, I said I would have laid you out. I said I'd do MMA." He was like, yeah, you got a fair point. He goes, you obviously didn't mean it, and he realised that he had a little bit of a history and then calmed down after that, and we kissed and made up. But yeah, there was that, and there was something else as well, but I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, those are the two main things I think on that show. Yeah, it was a ram-packed show that was with a lot of talent on it. There was a lot of Progress guys on there as well. But yeah, I was still to this day, people ask me about that. It's like, you punched Jimmy Havoc in the face. And I'm like, yes, I did. I'm not proud of it, and it wasn't. Well, I didn't mean it at all, because if anybody's met Jimmy, like I don't know, I get mixed opinions about the guy. He's a nice guy. I met him. I was having chats with him for hours beforehand. But then obviously that happened, and quite frankly, he's got every right to be pissed off. Everyone's going to be pissed if you get punched in the nose. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what happened anyway. So
I just want to see your face with Jimmy Havoc's launching his kit bag across the locker room, and you're just standing there like a kid.
I just knew something went wrong the minute he went down. He went, "You fucking cunt," in a typical Londoner voice, and I went, "Oh God, here we go." So then I had to turn around and take the lariat. So, but it was, it was a good show apart from that. And then I got the adrenaline from the lads, and they got on the car on the way back. So, as you would.
Yes, yeah. It's good stories though, isn't it? You're going to be able to carry those for the rest of your life. Like I stiffed out Jimmy Havoc, so happy days, I guess.
Yeah, it's not the proudest of moments, in all honesty. But
he's done right since though, hasn't he? So we can't really complain. So
exactly, yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. So yeah, no, happy days. If it makes you feel any better, I did catch him off of the balcony a week before I wrestled you, so that might have sort of equaled things out a little bit for you. So, because I had to do ring crew for Progress, and he did that ridiculous balcony dive, and I just thought, it's funny, you think someone like Jimmy Havoc would love getting punched in the face.
I made this point to my mate. I said, of all the death matches he goes through, and all the class tables he goes through, he gets a little punch off of me, and he goes absolutely apeshit. I'm like, I would love to go for a glass table, or is that just a wrestling thing,
Talk to me about Dom a little bit, because he's just retired, hasn't he? And better or for worse, he's been your tag partner for some time. You guys just basically, I mean, you got the right said Fred stuff, especially him. He seemed to love it, to be fair, which I thought was great fun. But what are your memories of Dom as a wrestler and also as a trainer?
I still remember going down there for my first lesson and training, and just seeing this 4-foot bald man going, right, I'm going to train you. I'm going, okay, yeah, fair enough. And to be fair, the guy doesn't take no shit. He is straightforward to the point, and he, as a trainer, he is like he has helped me out a lot. I can't praise him anymore, if I'm honest. Like, he has put me on the map. He's helped me out a lot. He's taught me a lot of things, and that's just something I never forget, And he's a very, very stubborn guy. Very stubborn guy, If he wants things done his way, it will be done his way, And he doesn't care what anybody says. He'll have it done his way. But as a trainer, like, hands down, and it wasn't till I think it was Dick Riley on one show years ago. He said, "I want you to put Ben on the show." So I come out with Dom as a kind of valet, kind of, or manager even, should I say? And it kind of kicked off from there, really. And then Dom said, "Oh, you're going to be my tag partner." I was like, right, okay. And then it wasn't till, I think it was Pro Evolution Wrestling, or what's called Evolution Wrestling now, needed another guy for a tag match. So I become part of not the Purge, the system. So that's where the system started, up in Pro Evolution. And then it kind of phased out at Pro Evo. And then we started using it down D.W.A. And that's when CPW said, "Oh, we're going to start up a group with you guys and call you the Purge," but obviously with different members. Yeah, so ever since CPW and Pro Evolution, I've been in the Purge and the system with Dom. So it's kind of been strong up until, when was it, 4 shows ago? About 4 shows ago now, me and Dom are no longer in the system because he kindly kicked me in the balls and kicked me out. So yeah, you can see where that one's heading, can't you? So
fair enough.
It's going to be an absolute war. So, but yeah, no, he's hands down, he's a generally nice guy. He knows what he's talking about. He's been in the game for years, and he knows a lot. He's a very stubborn guy, and he will tell you how it is. But at the same time, he's got a heart for wrestling. He can't walk away from wrestling. When I didn't even know he was announcing his retirement. He kept saying about, "Oh, I'm going to retire. I'm going to retire." And I was saying to him, no, you won't. No, you won't. I said, you'll be back before you know it. I said, your kids love your wrestling. I said, you love your wrestling. I said, you won't be able to stand away. He goes, yeah, I'm retired. And then it wasn't until I got a message off one of my mates. He said, oh, Dom's retired. No, it was my girlfriend, actually. She said, Dom's retired. I went, no, he hasn't. I said, I wouldn't know about it otherwise. He went, no, he's retired. I was like, oh, okay. So as he has retired and he has kicked me out of the system by betraying me, I told him, I said, don't worry. I said, if you turn up to a show, I said, we're going to have our match. I said, because the last time I said to him, I said, when you step in this ring again, I said, you're having a hardcore match against me. I said, that's how we're going to fall out.
Yes,
he was like,
match.
Yeah. He said, hardcore match is my speciality. And I was like, oh, great, here we go. Got backstage and Josh went, you're going to die. I was just like,
oh, my God.
Oh, God. I've landed it now, and I. So, yeah, that was the last time I seen Dom. And that was back in February, March. Might have been sooner than that. It might have been April, but it was the last Option show we was on. But yeah, no, I am gutted that he has retired. But at the same time, for a guy of 52, I think he's 52. I think he might be 54. He might kick me in the teeth for that.
I was going to say, he looks about 42. When I first met him, I was just like, my mate was like, oh, he's 50. I was like, fuck off, he's not 50. Look at his body. Like, nobody looks that. Like, he looks, like, when you think of all the good 50-year-old wrestlers, Chris Jericho, Suzuki, he's got a better body than all of them. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he's fucking humongous, that geezer.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's 52. And he moves like he's a cruiserweight 18-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like, the guy can move for his age. He's so, like, he's just so, his agility is so good, you know, and he just puts a lot of the younger wrestlers to shame. You know, we was at training once. We were just trying to do like a leap. It was like a leapfrog, or not a leapfrog. It was like a leap over the ropes leg drop, and we couldn't get over enough. None of us could do it, and he was the only one that could do it. You know, and it was. We were just all standing there going, "You're 52 years old. How comes you can do this?" And we're like 10, 20 years younger than you. You know. But this is what happens when you've got a guy that's been doing it for years. But no, hands down, he is an amazing trainer. He's done a lot. He's done a lot for D.W.A. He's been everywhere. He's done everywhere. He's put my name out there a lot. He has helped me. You know, I can't say any more about the guy really. He's done a lot for me. So, and it has been great being in a tag team with him, because you know instantly if you're in a tag team with him and he goes out fast, you know straight away you're going to get those right said Fred chants or a boo or. You know, when you've got him stood there just with that aggressive heel look, and then you've got me that's like a big bodybuilder, but not as well, just a little bit taller than him next to him, it kind of does match. So, but he's. I do wish him a happy retirement, but all honesty, I can't see him retiring. He will be back before he knows it. So
there you go. Stay tuned. We'll stick that on the Wrestle Plug dirt sheet if we ever get one. Austin Drake says that Dom will come out of retirement at some point to battle him in a death match. So let me know when that happens. By the way, I cannot wait to see that kind of execution. Oh, by the way, whatever happened to our death match? I thought me and you were going to have a death match at OCW. So if Chris Classic is listening, because I know he gets involved and he's subscribed to us, get on with that, mate. When the pandemic's done, I'm quite happy to bleed for the system.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with that actually. I wrestled for Chris a few times.
How was OCW for you? Because funny enough, the one show you didn't work was the show that I did work.
Yeah, I think there was the show after the one that I did work, or it might have been the one before. But yeah, no, it was good. It was me and Dom, the system, versus the Brothers Orr, you know, and we always have a good match against. Yeah, we always have a good match against the Brothers Orr. I think we've I've wrestled them about 5-6 times now. And those guys are funny ass guys. Like literally, they've got a proper good sense of humour, but at the same time, they're nice lads as well. You know, you can have a laugh and a giggle with them.
Yeah, they come across that way. They seem really nice.
Like Chris is a sound lad himself. Like he's as you know, he's a massive wrestling fan, and he goes to every single show around the Southwest. He purchases everybody's t-shirts, their merch, the lot. You know. And he's just an all-round nice guy. There's a massive fan when it comes to that thing. So everybody that he asks are always more than willing to work for him, you know. So it's no issue whatsoever. You know, like it's down in Cornwall, so it's nobody operates down that way, but he does draw a crowd, you know. And it's Chris. Everybody's more than willing to do it because he's such a
He's lovely, isn't he? Just raw passion, isn't it? I think that's what I love most about Chris, is that raw... Like, what he doesn't have as a promoter, he makes up for in his unbelievable passion and love for just watching and being involved in wrestling. I really admire that.
Exactly. You know, there's always guys like that always turn up to their shows, you know? And, like, I've always got time for Chris, always got time for him, you know, because no matter where he's to or wherever there's a show to, you're guaranteed you'll turn around and you'll see him there. Do you know what I mean? So he has got an unbelievable passion for it, and I don't mind doing a lot for that guy. You know, I'll always put him first, or like if he's at a show and he's lining up at the back of the queue or something, I'll go straight up to him and give him a handshake and stuff like that, and have a picture with him always and have a chat with him. So yeah, no, he has got a lot of passion. I think that's where to drive his company and the people that he brings down, because he knows everybody, literally everybody.
He does, yeah.
So,
master of contacts.
Yeah. So no, hopefully he carries it on. You know, once all this is passed and stuff, you know, and it picks up again. But yeah, no, definitely got a lot of time for Chris always.
How are you seeing wrestling from your perspective? Because obviously, pandemic, I'm going to probably, like everybody else, watch Boris in a minute and see what that fucking idiot has to say. How do you see wrestling going for you when it comes out of things? Would you like to kind of make a next step, keep pushing forward, or do you have designs on other things? Any kind of... Because obviously you're working so much, like you said, you work the door as well, things like that, so you're such a busy man. Is wrestling still your number one focus?
Yeah, it is. I've had a lot of talks with Robin and Kerry, and I don't know too much. I've just through hearsay of what talking to Robin, things are pushing forward for D.W.A, and a lot of things are going to be changing. But that's all I can say on that. I don't know anymore. But in terms of, I've been chatting to a lot of the Dragon Pro guys, and in terms of training, I'm going to be heading up to Dragon Pro and training with Oren's Andrews. I did the application form a long time ago now. It's just having the time to go up there. And when I was going to go up there, they obviously closed it down to the virus, so which was annoying. But once that's all passed and gone past the peak and stuff, that is literally where I'm heading, up to Dragon Pro. There's plans down for this area as well in terms of training and stuff, but obviously I can't do anything until that's all set up. I mean, no one knows what's going to happen whilst as far as it's here, but yeah, literally that's the next step is Dragon Pro, and get my name pushed and get myself pushed, because I feel like in wrestling in itself, like I was pushing myself, but at the same time I was losing the love for it, because it seemed to be the same consistent thing every single week. And I've had these chats with PJ Jones and D.W.A all the time, because I work with D.W.A on a daily basis. And I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And he's like, yeah, do it. And because those guys have watched me wrestle and they know what kind of training I do, they know what I need to improve on and stuff. And I've had paragraphs from PJ, paragraphs from Nick, and I've been chatting with Nick, and they've told me what I need, and then I've showed that to Nick, and he agrees and stuff like that. So yeah, like they've both said, if you're going to go up Dragon Pro, do it. So that is my next step on the ladder, literally. As soon as everything's passed, that is it. Obviously, I'm not going to disown D.W.A or anything like that, because those guys have got a lot. They've helped me out a lot, you know. So I'll still be wrestling with them, and I'll still be training with them. But the times I get to go up to Dragon Pro, I'll make the most of that opportunity, because you're not going to say no to Wild Boar and Mark Andrews guys. There's guys that go up there that are in NXT UK that we wouldn't normally get a chance to train with. So that's where I need to bring more of my character out, and there's a lot of change that I want to add to my character, and there's other things that I want to do in terms of agility and stuff, being a big lad. So because you don't often see a big guy like me flipping around unless your name's like Jeff Cobb and you can just do everything and have unbelievable strength, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the next ladder, next step. So
I think Dragon Pro, like we've had Brendan White on the podcast, who obviously trains there, and you know had a real heavy presence there for a long time. Very good friends with those guys, and we're big fans of Dragon Pro. Always big them up on the podcast, mate. So it'd be really exciting to see what kind of wrestler you're going to be coming out of that, and yeah, please don't swing that fucking chair too hard at me when you do come out. But let me talk to you about the door for a little bit. Now, obviously, you know, you come across as such a lovely bloke. I was really surprised, because when I was told, you know, I remember Alice saying, like, you know, you're going to answer, the Beast Austin Drake's open challenge. I thought, he's going to fucking kill me. Like, he looks terrifying. And you're actually a really lovely bloke. But I imagine when it comes to the door, things get a little bit more feisty and you've got to have the game face on. So, obviously, only share what's not going to compromise you. But do you have any fun stories from the door for us?
Oh, where do I even start with that? I've been doing it 13 years, so. I've kind of calmed down a lot since I've had my kids. So it's kind of, obviously when you have a family, you kind of try and find time to calm down,
Yeah.
I've always had that feisty, fighty side of me, but I have my lovable side as well. I'm the kind of person that likes to get on with everybody. If you get on with me, I'll get on with everybody else, that kind of thing. And I've always got time for people that will give respect back, that kind of respect. You give respect, you earn respect. I've always been brought up in that manner, but at the same time, I've always been brought up in the sense of if someone goes for you or gives you shit, you give them shit twice as much, So, but yeah, no, it's a weird. Going back to that when I had that match and Alice said that to you, like when I first met you, no word of a lie, and I thought, hang on a minute, this guy's like 22 stone, right? And you're like 6'6", 6'7". I was like, you tower over me. I was like, how am I going to pick you up for an F5? Which I did pick you up for an F5, which I surprised myself. Yeah. But
I was a little bit surprised as well when I was up there. I was like, holy shit, because I don't get picked up often. So yeah, that's probably why the bump was fucking atrocious. So I still need to apologise for that one, to be honest. Impressive feat of strength, nonetheless.
Because when Alice said you're going to beat him up, and I was like, how does that work? And I was like, you're like 6'7", you're like 22 stone.
She just wanted blood. She wanted to see the rookie die, and I fully understand that. But now that I've had a few matches on the belt, I'd hope that she'd allow me to draw some blood at some point off somebody. But yeah, no,
it should have been the other way around, But I could understand they were trying to bring me or make me like the kind of Brock Lesnar to their company kind of thing. So that was their exact words.
You had to look for it though, didn't you, to be fair? And to be honest, full disclosure, I was just very, my dream, because I'm a much older guy, so my dream was if I could just get on any show, I will consider that a massive achievement. And Alice afforded me that opportunity, which I'm always going to be thankful for. And to be honest, I just went in there and thought, I don't give a shit if I'm wrestling a leprechaun, I just want to make sure the leprechaun looks good. I don't give a fuck about what I do. I was just obsessed with making sure that you look dominant. And to be fair, everyone was coming up to me afterwards saying, he kicked the shit out of you. I was like, good, that job was done, and that's all I care about.
So it's good that we told the story, but I still look back at that match and I go, no, you should have destroyed me. That doesn't make any sense, But when it comes to the doors, it's, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not the biggest lad in terms of height. I'm only 5'9", Yeah. But in stature, I am quite a muscly guy. But I think where I've had such a reputation from doing MMA and stuff, and where I've been working the doors, because I started off old school, so I got brought up with a bunch of old school guys. So it was a case of you tell a doorman to fuck off, they knock you out kind of thing. So I used to drag people out by their throat and put them unconscious and put them in chokeholds and throw them out in the middle of the road. I used to do all that,
Good practice at least.
Yeah. And it kind of, I don't know, in that job you kind of get a reputation by doing it, so then people tend to not mess around with you so much, but you still get a lot of people do it. But as time's gone on, as you probably noticed this, there's a lot of 18-year-olds that come about and they've just got no respect because they haven't been brought up being smacked around the ear or smacked around the ass and being told off that kind of way, So you kind of have to give them a smack in the mouth in order for them to shut them up kind of thing, and have a little bit of respect. But I wouldn't even know where to start when it comes to stories of the doors. I mean, there is a lot of things I get now because of being a wrestler around my area and a lot of my faces on the posters and stuff. I always get, what are you going to do? You only do fake wrestling. And as you know, as a wrestler, I fucking hate the word fake, and it just pisses me off. And I'm like, all right then. So I instantly go, well, come on then, come fight me. I said, I didn't do pro cage fighting for 5 years for no reason. And they go, shit. And then they do try it on, and then I end up putting them to the floor.
I mean, delving into the sort of darker side of it, what kind of things get pulled on you? Do you get weapons and stuff pulled on you, things like that?
All honesty, where we live is not like a very weapon culture place. It's quite a small town area, It's like one of those towns where everybody knows everyone, Yeah. Like, unlike where you live, is it Portsmouth, I believe?
It's very hectic down there. The doors are very feisty down there.
Yeah, it's more of a city, But it's down here, it's like everybody knows everyone. I think I've only had it 3 times maybe. I think I've found more knives than I have had any pulled on me. But I've been bottled a couple of times.
Wow.
Stupidly, I had a guy at the bar and I seen him have a bottle in his hand. I said, you throw that bottle. I said, I swear to God, I'll ram your head through that fucking door so fast. I turned my back on him. Wrong thing to do. Next one, I got the bottle over my head, didn't I? But it didn't smash, did it? And it fucking
really. Oh, it's worse if it doesn't smash. Like, I've been hit with a bottle before, and if it doesn't smash, that is fucking horrendous. That'll leave a lump like a golf ball, mate.
So I had a lump on the top of my head, but I rammed his head against the fire exit handle. So,
fair dues.
And he kind of got a little bit surprised by that because he was like, "Oh fucking hell, I wish I never done that now." But yeah, no.
Did people try you a lot because of your size? Do they think, "Oh, he's only 5'9", I can take this cunt"?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
very silly.
That's the thing. There's a lot of. It's not so much the smaller ones; it's the taller ones they're taller than me now that tend to go, "Oh, I'll take you on," and I'm like, "Look, mate, your bollocks is in reach of my hand. I will twist him. Don't piss me off," you know. And they go, "Oh, okay, then fair enough," you know. And you just kind of got to beat them to it to make them realise, like, where we live is a very squaddy culture town, you know. And there's you either get on really well with them, or there's the odd newbies that come down and they think they're going to try it, you know. But it's a I don't know, it's a weird one. I think it's nowadays it's based more on if you got a reputation, they ain't going to mess with you, you know. But then you still have to turn up the volume a little bit and make them realise that they can't take the piss. Do you know what I mean? So like if I was to come into your house and I said take your shoes off and you went no, we ain't fucking coming in then. It's kind of that, you know. You come in this club, you learn to respect it, otherwise you can fuck off, you know.
And also, it should be pointed out, I mean, obviously with mates and obviously you're chatting about it on Facebook and things like that, but one thing that I always like to point out to people is that if you just if you're nice to them, more often than not, they're really nice people. Like, it's only if you start acting the pillock that you're going to get these problems. Probably one of the main reasons I don't drink at all is because I just don't like that kind of attitude that comes with it. But I imagine you probably would say to anyone listening, just fucking show a bit of respect and you'll be absolutely fine.
Well, that's it. That's literally it. You know, if you you wouldn't go into some random stranger's house, you wouldn't go into your auntie's house and start chucking things about and pissing all over the floors and putting shit all over the toilets. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't do that in your own family's house, so why go and do it in somebody else's? Do you know what I mean? And that's just simply it. You know, someone's going to have rules for their house the same as they're going to have rules in a nightclub. You know, so it's just literally that. Like, it's simple respect. You know.
Do you still want to stay as a or do you want to get away from that world?
I don't know. Ever since I've had the wrestling shows, it's kind of the wrestling took part, took a lot of my door work up. But obviously I'd do the shows and then bugger off the door work afterwards. So you can imagine how, going to a show at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and then finishing at 9, 10, travelling to the club for half 11, working till 4 in the morning and have to get up for training. So you can imagine it's pretty hectic. But depending on my wrestling schedules for when everything goes back to normal, I think if I didn't do it, I'd miss it. I think it's more of a social life, because I don't go out drinking, and doing that job puts me off drinking anyway. So it's kind of, I just do it for the social side of things. I mean, I used to just do it because I used to like fighting, but I guess that's
good
just
practice, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's it,
Condition yourself.
But yeah, well, to be honest with you, my cardio is not great, and even when I'm chucking somebody out, it's just down on the floor. So yeah, I would say for now. It's not a massive definite but I think with everything going on, and I think with the plans I want to take, where I want to train up Dragon Pro and I'd get another day job and that kind of thing, I think I will do it for the time being, but I can see me slowly walking away from it. So
yeah. Oh well. Well, the day will come, and I imagine more people will want to go in the nightclub because they won't be in fear of Austin Drake. That's another thing as well. Do you actually have your real name on the badge, or do you like to keep the wrestler's name there to just remind people of that?
Believe it or not, I don't have. I've got my real name on my badge,
Really?
for obviously legal reasons. But
Yeah, that's fair.
I do get the odds. There's a coloured chap that comes in every time. It's like Austin Drake, and I'm just like, mate, shut up, seriously, just stop calling me that. Austin Drake, what are you going to do? Power slam me? I'm just like, luckily enough, I know him, but you know.
At least he's keeping the kayfabe, so you got to give him that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's. I get the odd person say, oh, he's a wrestler. What are you going to do? You're just a fake ass wrestler. I get that all the time now, and I'm just like, you carry on saying that whilst you're about a mile down the road, you know, but. Yes, that's literally all I get at the moment. So
that's fair enough, mate. Well, I'm glad you don't get as much anger as you used to. I'll tell you what, we'll bring you back on, I think, because you must have so much more to talk about when it comes to wrestling. But we'll leave it there for now, I think. What are your social media, mate? Where can people get at you so that they can follow you and, you know, obviously see the journey that Austin Drake is on?
I'm on Facebook, Austin Drake D.W.A, and I've got another page on Facebook just called Austin Drake. If you want to. Feel free to add me, by all means do it. And I've got my Instagram page, which is at Ben@Austin Drake Kerr. So yeah, I'm all over the place really at the moment. So I have got a babyface account. Is it a babyface? Is it a babyface app? Yeah, there is a babyface app account on there. I've got a page on there, but I haven't seen that app around for a while actually. I think they.
No, that's kind of died a death very quickly. I think from what I can tell, like all my mates were on it, and then about 3 months later, nobody was talking about it. It was on. It was like a fad.
I think I did see they were updating it for a second one, so...
Oh, well, if anyone's still using it, obviously check out Austin Drake and be able to see... Well, hopefully, if the pandemic subsides quick enough, we're going to be able to see you laying some falls out again pretty quickly around that region.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a hell of a lot to talk about when it comes to Southwest Wrestling. A lot more. So,
yeah, there is. There really is. So I'll tell you what, mate. We'll make this part 1, and we'll bring you back very soon for another chat. But until then, thank you very much for joining us, mate. It's a pleasure, and something that I'm sure I've told you enough times. But thank you very much for looking after me and making my debut a very pleasant. Well, except for the coast to coast, which I'm still feeling to this day. I'm pretty sure I was the first man to ever take 2, so I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like taking that for some reason. I don't know why, but it's. I'm sure it's not as bad as what people say it is. So
it was for me, but that's because I got my leg in the way. So yeah, if we ever wrestle again, tell me to keep my fucking leg out of the way. That's my own fault. It's on me. So, and that goes for anyone else listening. If you're going to take coast to coast, keep your fucking legs away from the chair. So yeah, happy days. But no, mate, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. It was an absolute pleasure to be afforded the opportunity to, you know, grapple with you and take a shit kicking from you, a good shellacking, a good way to enter the business, I think. And look forward to speaking to you very soon down the road, brother.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah, I look forward to the second part. So.
Yes, mate. Yeah, part 2 coming very soon, ladies and gentlemen. So keep your eye on that. But yeah, until then, Austin Drake, thank you very much for joining us on the Wrestle Plug, mate.
This content was brought to you by the Wrestle Plug podcast.